morning, coming to you live in the gym in Sunland Park, New Mexico. Before I get started with this climb, today is a day to give honor and to remember those service members that made the ultimate sacrifice to allow us to be a free country and enjoy the freedoms that we live by. This climb is dedicated to Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack out of Safety Battalion, a total of 7 verticals to get us to the 101st floor. 9 floors after that, this climb is complete. So again, the 343 commitment and still counting. Coming to you live in the gym in Sunland Park, New Mexico. Just about to get this first one started. This climb is dedicated to his service, his 6 years with the Navy, his service to the NYPD, and his over 30 years of service to the FDNY. For his wife Teresa, his sons Brian and Michael, who are both on the FDNY, Michael's wife Kathleen, and their daughter Colleen. Here we go with that first vertical. So Battalion Chief Lawrence, also known as Larry Stack, was 58 years old when he responded on 9/11. So let's go back with a little bit of history on our brother, Battalion Chief Stack. So he did 6 years with the United States Navy. The last year being Vietnam. Once he completed that, he retired with an honorable discharge in 1966. That was 10 years before I was born. In 68, actually, let me back up a little bit. It said after he retired, he did a small stint with the NYPD. So in 68, he got on with the FDNY. So basically, our brother, Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack, came from a family of firefighters. His father was in the fire service for the FDNY for 38 years. His brother, Dennis, was a firefighter with FDNY. And it goes on and on to his sons, Michael, and then Brian, who also joined the FDNY. Michael got appointed in 1994, and I believe Brian was later, from what I read. So in 68, got on the FDNY with ladder 107 out of East New York, and I believe that was housed with engine 225, and then in 70 he moved to ladder 175, housed with engine, I believe it was 332, and that was the East New York Trucking Company. It said he was there for roughly 11 years. Now keep in mind, back then, that was a pretty rough time in firefighting in New York. They said there was a pretty high crime rate during that time frame. So you really earned your experience back then. So in 81, I believe he was promoted to lieutenant, and he had gotten on with Tower Ladder 35 and Engine 40 in the 80s, also known as the Cavemen of Manhattan. So he was initially like a swing lieutenant, I believe, and then after that he got on with the Cavemen. So the next, I believe it was 1994, he was promoted to captain. Or I could be wrong on the dates because there's so many dates involved in this one. And then after that, he was promoted to battalion chief. When he was a captain, I believe, if I remember correct from what I read, he worked with the 8-ball, Engine 8, and Ladder 2 there in Manhattan, prior to transferring to battalion chief, where he went on to battalion 54 and then battalion 50 in Queens. After that, with our brother having 25 years of experience at this point, he got promoted into the safety battalion. So the safety battalion basically is the safety chief, runs any second alarm or greater, any vehicle accidents involving FDNY, and any fatalities. Our brother knew all 5 boroughs, the style of buildings, and basically he was the second set of eyes, the sixth sense for the firefighters to make sure that there were no situations that were going to put the personnel there at risk. Our brother was a husband to Terry for 34 years, a father to Michael and Brian, and a firefighter with the FDNY for over 30 years. A Navy veteran, and even had that short stint with the NYPD prior to getting on with the FDNY. Our brother will never be forgotten, but instead, Battalion Chief Lawrence Stock will always be remembered. His legacy will carry on through his accomplishments, his capabilities, and his knowledge of the job. So, he was at the safety battalion. On 9/11, my brother was in Astoria, Queens, working on the Father's Day fire report and investigation, where 3 firefighters were killed on Father's Day. He was working on that when he heard that the attack happened, and our brother responded to the World Trade Center, the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil, where upwards of 25,000 were saved because of the bravery, valor, and heroism that was shown by our brothers. So he responded to the towers. While he was there, the South Tower collapsed, and it said that he assisted 2 lieutenants out of the rubble and assisted them out of the South Tower. When they got out of the South Tower, he told his lieutenants how to get to safety. While he was outside the South Tower, he saw a victim with a severed Achilles tendon who couldn't walk, asking for help. So he and Chief Downey assisted this victim. That was the last thing that they were seen doing on 9/11 before the North Tower collapsed. They will never be forgotten. The sacrifices that were made so that others could live will always be remembered. This is why we climb. Right now, coming to you live in the gym in Sunland Park, New Mexico on this Memorial Day. We're taking up Battalion Chief Lawrence Stocks all the way to the top, to the 110th floor, with honor and respect for his wife Teresa, his sons Brian and Michael, who are both FDNY, Michael's wife Kathleen, and his daughter Colleen. Never forgotten his service to his country as a Navy veteran of 6 years, which he was part of the Vietnam War, his last year in the Navy, to his over 30 years of service to the FDNY, where he started off as a firefighter on ladder 107, then went to ladder 175, then went to ladder 35 with engine 40 with the Caveman, then went to the 8-ball with ladder 2 there in Manhattan, then went to Queens, Battalion 50 and 54, and our brother finishing off with the Safety Battalion, the sixth sense of the department, the second eyes of the firefighters, to make sure on second alarm or greater vehicle accidents involving FDNY or in fatalities, our brother's responsibility was to make the scene and keep his people safe. In the other cases, to complete thorough investigations on cause. Right now, this is his climb. The initial 343 commitment, 309th brother to be carried to the very top, down to 34 brothers left to take up. Each and every one a legacy to be told, so our brothers do not just become a picture on a wall or name on a plaque. This is why we climb, to share their stories as we take them all the way to the very top. And right now, with honor and respect given, Battalion Chief Lawrence Stock is going to the top. It said that he did woodworking in their house. I believe it was in Ronkonkoma, where they lived. And in their free time, his wife and the sons, they would go down to Delray Beach, Florida, and spend time at their condo there. That was their getaway. And he loved spending time with Teresa, his wife, at 34 years. Teresa, this climb is dedicated to you, your sons, your daughter-in-law, and your granddaughter. Brian, Michael, Kathleen, and Colleen. Right now, your husband is being carried all the way to the top. Symbolically, going to the top with me right now. This is the reason this climb exists, to tell his story, to share his life, and pushing him up is what we're doing. Second climb of this tour, this time for Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack, also known as Larry. Coming up on that third to last vertical now of this 110th floor memorial climb for our brother, Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack of the Safety Battalion. My brother was in Astoria, Queens on 9/11, conducting an investigation into the Father's Day fire where 3 firefighters lost their lives. On hearing the attack on the tower, he responded to the World Trade Center, and while he was there, assisted 2 lieutenants out of the rubble in the South Tower after it collapsed. Got them out, guided towards safety, and found a victim with a severed Achilles tendon that he and Chief Ray Downey worked on helping prior to the North Tower collapse. This is with honor and respect for the sacrifices made on and after 9/11 within the almost 9-month recovery effort, which yesterday, May 30th, marked the 19th year of the completion of the removal of the last beam, taken out of ground zero, covered in an American flag, and placed upright in the 9/11 Memorial Museum. We will never forget the sacrifices made in the recovery effort. Those who worked the pile, those who dealt and succumbed to 9/11 cancers and illnesses. After the initial 343 brothers are carried to the top, the end still counting will rise. Each taking their turn, God willing, as many as I can get up to the top. Coming up on the second to last vertical now. Let this mask clear out some for this 110th floor memorial stair climb for Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack, Safety Battalion 1, with over 30 years of service to the FDNY. My brother was a United States Navy veteran, but his last year served in Vietnam prior to coming into the NYPD, and in 1968 joining the FDNY. Was a firefighter, then a lieutenant, then a captain, and then a battalion chief. Initially in East New York with engine ladder 107, engine 225, and then in the East New York Trucking Company with ladder 175 and engine 332, I believe. And then he went to Manhattan as a lieutenant, and then was on the Caveman, tower ladder 35, engine 40, then moved to the 8-ball, engine 8 with ladder 2, prior to going to Queens on battalions 50 and 54, and then became the safety battalion chief. We will never forget his service to our country, his service to the citizens of New York. We will never forget his time, 34 years of marriage with Teresa, his sons, Brian and Michael, his daughter-in-law Kathleen, and his granddaughter Colleen. You will always be remembered. Our brother from a family in the fire service. Both his sons, Michael and Brian, are on the FDNY. With honor and respect, your husband and father are going vertical. Now we're on the last rest before the last vertical in this 110 floors, given in honor and respect for the sacrifices made on 9/11/2001 and those that followed in the almost 9-month recovery effort on Ground Zero. This is the initial 343 commitment. 309th climb, going vertical. 34 brothers left to reach the top. This is why we climb. This is what we're doing. Just climbing. Let's start climber. Taking them all the way to that 110th floor. Getting ready to take that last vertical all the way to the top. Our brother was a father to his sons, Brian and Michael. Michael joined the FDNY, and then Brian joined the FDNY after. Michael got in 1994, if I read that correct. The family, I believe, lived in Ronkonkoma and had a vacation home in a condo in Delray Beach, Florida, which they would go and spend time on vacation there. Right now, this climb is our brothers. Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack, taking him all the way to the 101st floor now. Upon completion of this last vertical, all the way to finishing off the 110 floors. After this last little bit of a vertical, we'll get to the 101st floor shortly, with honor and respect given for the sacrifices made so that others can live. On this Memorial Day, we honor and remember the servicemen and women who made that ultimate sacrifice for us to be a free country and enjoy living with our freedoms. We can never pay back that debt. We can only pray and remember. But right now, this is another climb. Going up to the 110th floor with honor and respect for our brother's life, for his legacy. Very smart in what he did. It wasn't merit, but experience that our brother brought with him. Over 30 years of time in dedicated service to the citizens of New York. Our brother's last assignment at 58 years old was a chief of the safety battalion. Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack. He knew the buildings. He knew the environment. He was the second set of eyes, and basically the sixth sense of the firefighters. Responded to anything second alarm or greater, citywide, and responded to FDNY involved vehicle accidents and up to fatalities involving the FDNY. We will never forget. We will always remember. This is why we climb on this Stairmaster and climbs all around the United States for 9/11 Memorial and runs such as the Tunnel to Towers feature all over the United States, the tower climbs, and across the world in remembrance to the 343 and still counting. We're almost to the very top for Battalion Chief Lawrence Larry Stack. With honor and respect, we go to finish symbolically carrying our brother to the top. For his time as a Navy veteran who went to the Vietnam War, to an NYPD officer, to over 30 years of service as a firefighter, a lieutenant, a captain, and a battalion chief. He will never, ever be forgotten. This is his last floor to finish his footsteps from assisting lieutenants out in the South Tower to assisting a victim on the ground. This is done. Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack. Rest easy, sir. We'll take it from here. You will not be forgotten.